You're standing in line, surrounded by the smell of roasted beans and expensive pastry. You order a seasonal latte, tap your phone, and pay $7. In that moment, you think you just bought a beverage. But you're wrong. You just made a deposit into one of the most profitable yet least regulated banks in the world. Right now, Starbucks is sitting on over $1.6 billion in customer cash. This isn't money they've earned from selling coffee. It's money customers have preloaded onto their apps and cards. To put that in perspective, that is more liquid capital than 85% of all banks in the United States. How did a small roastery from Seattle's Pike Place market transform into a financial juggernaut that tricks us into paying a 2,000% markup on water and beans? Today, we are pulling back the curtain on the Starbucks illusion. We'll explore how they weaponized Italian culture, how they became a real estate predator, and why their biggest product isn't coffee. It's your unused digital change. To understand the illusion, we have to go back to 1983. Howard Schultz, a marketing manager for a then-small Seattle coffee bean seller, took a trip to Milan, Italy. He didn't just see people drinking coffee, he saw a ritual. In Italy, the espresso bar was the soul of the community. People stood at the counter, discussed politics, and knew their barista by name. Schultz returned to America with a vision. The third place. In sociology, your first place is your home. Your second place is your work. Schultz wanted Starbucks to be the space in between. He realized that Americans weren't looking for better beans. They were looking for a status symbol and a sanctuary. Think about the interior of a Starbucks. The lighting is warm and low. The furniture is heavy and upholstered. The music is a curated blend of jazz and lo-fi beats. This isn't accidental. Starbucks is renting you a premium lifestyle for 30 minutes. When you pay $7, you aren't just paying for caffeine. You are paying for the right to sit in a high-rent district, use high-speed Wi-Fi, and look productive. And let's talk about the name on the cup. We've all seen the memes. Mark spelled with a K or Jessica spelled as Gessica. You might think the baristas are just tired, but this is one of the most brilliant earned media strategies in history. Every time a customer takes a photo of a misspelled name and posts it to Instagram or TikTok, Starbucks gets a free advertisement. They've turned their customers into a global marketing department that pays them for the privilege of working. Now, let's look at the math that would make a Wall Street banker jealous. The Starbucks Rewards program is the gold standard of fintech disguised as a loyalty club. Over 30 million people in the US alone use the Starbucks app. To get the stars and the free refills, you are encouraged to preload your digital card. When you load $25 onto your app, Starbucks hasn't sold you anything yet, but they already have your money. In the world of finance, this is an interest-free loan. When a traditional bank wants to borrow money to expand, they have to pay interest to the lender. When Starbucks wants to borrow money, they just ask you to load your app. They get $1.6 billion of capital with a 0% interest rate. What did they do with that money? They don't let it sit in a vault. They reinvest it. They use your coffee money to build new stores, acquire competitors, and invest in the markets. They are essentially a multi-billion-dollar hedge fund funded by your caffeine addiction. While traditional banks are weighed down by regulations and the requirement to keep vast reserves, Starbucks operates with a level of agility that would make a Silicon Valley startup blush. They've effectively bypassed the entire banking industry, turning every smartphone with their app into a high-speed terminal for corporate expansion. But it gets even better for Starbucks. It's a concept called breakage. Every year, hundreds of millions of dollars are left on cards that are lost, forgotten in drawers, or have nuisance balances. Those tiny amounts like 32 cents that are too small to buy anything, but too annoying to transfer. In 2023 alone, Starbucks reported nearly $200 million in revenue from breakage. That is pure 100% profit from money customers literally gave them for nothing in return. They aren't just a bank. They are a bank that never has to pay back 10% of its deposits. Starbucks' dominance isn't just about the app, it's about physical conquest. Have you ever noticed two Starbucks stores on the same street, or even across from each other? In business, this is called market cannibalization, and usually it's a mistake. For Starbucks, it's a weapon. By saturating a single block, They create a green wall that physically blocks any local competitor from gaining a foothold. It's not about serving more coffee. It's about strategic territorial denial, ensuring that the only choice you have is their choice. They use a cluster strategy. By flooding a high-traffic area with multiple stores, they ensure two things. First, they eliminate the wait time friction. If one line is too long, the customer just goes to the one 50 meters away. Second, they act as a real estate predator. They intentionally outbid local independent coffee shops for leases. They are willing to run a specific store at a loss just to make sure a competitor can't move in. Once they dominate a neighborhood, they drive up the prestige of the area, which in turn drives up property values. Starbucks is one of the world's most sophisticated data companies. They know exactly where the foot traffic is, what the average income of a passerby is, and exactly how much they can overcharge before you walk away. They don't just follow the crowd, they dictate the flow of the city. But every empire faces a turning point. The original third-place illusion is fading. Today, over 75% of Starbucks revenue comes from to-go orders, drive-thrus, and mobile pickups. The cozy chairs are being replaced by pickup shelves. The community is being replaced by efficiency. Gen Z is gravitating toward specialty coffee, shops that focus on the craft, the origin of the bean, and genuine authenticity. Others are moving toward functional energy like yerba mate or clean label energy drinks. Furthermore, Starbucks is under fire for its tax practices. In Europe, they've faced massive scrutiny for using Dutch and Luxembourgish subsidiaries to shift profits and avoid paying their fair share of taxes in the countries where they actually sell coffee. Between union-busting controversies and the shift toward fast food style service, the premium mask is slipping. So, where does this leave us? When we look at the green siren on the corner, we have to realize that Starbucks is no longer just a coffee company. It is a massive, multi-layered experiment in human behavior and financial engineering. They have successfully done what every corporation dreams of. They've turned a basic commodity, water and beans, into a psychological necessity and a digital currency. The $1.6 billion they hold in app credits isn't just coffee money. It represents a fundamental shift in how power works in the 21st century. In the past, companies had to provide a service to get your money. Today, Starbucks has convinced us to give them the money first, with no guarantee of when or how we'll spend it. They've built a banking system that is more efficient than Wall Street, fueled entirely by our desire for a caffeine kick and a sense of belonging. The question is the convenience worth the price? Or are we just addicted to the illusion of the third place? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you still use the app or have you switched to local shops? If you found this deep dive interesting, click here to watch that next. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more business breakdowns. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.